Hey everyone, it's Andrew Warner, founder of Mixergy.com, home of the ambitious upstart. Want to learn how Ramit Sethi went from nowhere to building one of the most successful blogs online to, as of last week, becoming a New York Times and Wall Street Journal bestseller? How did he go from nowhere to that kind of success? Well, in this clip you're about to see, you'll learn. But first, let me tell you that Ramit Sethi is the author of a blog and a book now called I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And in this clip from our interview that you can download, and I hope you download the whole interview, in this clip you're going to see how he comes up with an idea, how he writes about it, and more importantly, I think for our purposes, how he promotes it online. Here's the clip.
If you build it, they will not come. You got to build something great and then tell the right people about it. So I'll give you an example. Recently, there's one of my favorite posts that I wrote is called the $28,000 question. Why are we all hypocrites about our weddings? And it involves how we all say, oh yeah, when I have a wedding, I just want it to be simple and beautiful, just small and beautiful, which of course is a total lie, right? When you have your wedding, you want it to be the best, you want it to be the biggest, and of course it makes natural sense. It's your one wedding. So I said, why don't we acknowledge that and just be realistic about it and realize that if we indeed are going to have the average wedding, which is $28,000, we know the average age that men and women marry, then if you're about 20 years old, you need to be saving something like $300 a month at 20 years old, which nobody does, right? And if you're like 25, it's something like $1,100 a month. Totally absurd. So it got a lot of people, thinking about this. But the key to that success of that post was writing it and making it really tactical and having numbers in there, and then going and telling the wedding bloggers, right? A lot of times people just write it and they think, oh, let my readers come. Well, what happens is if you think about personal finance like a big funnel, nobody cares about personal finance in general. Nobody says, I want to be a personal finance expert, because if you do, you're a huge nerd. But if you happen to be looking, planning a wedding, I bet you're reading a bunch of wedding blogs. So if you think of personal finance as a funnel, you get people in at the wedding level, and maybe a few of them say, oh, I should check out this guy's stuff on Roth IRAs or what he talks about in terms of investor psychology, and all of a sudden you've got 2,000 new readers. So you got to write great stuff, but in my experience, you also have to tell the right people about it.
All right, and let's leave it there. That is just one point from a much longer program that I hope you download. If you do download the program, you're going to find out how he got into the Wall Street Journal. Ramit told me that getting into the Wall Street Journal established his credibility when an article was written about him. You're going to find out what he calls negotiating like an Indian, which I think is a really interesting well, he has some interesting examples of how you can negotiate with the bank, with Macy's, with people who you never would have expected and reduce your expenses. You're going to find out how to build passionate audiences online. And man, if you look at his website, go to iwillteachyoutoberich.com and you'll see some really passionate readers over there. All right, so get the program now. If you do, you're going to get all that and so much more. Now, on Mixergy, we like to learn from each other, and so let me ask you this. Now that we've learned from Ramit, I'd like to learn from you. What have you done to promote your stuff online? Tell me in the comments, tell me by email, but let's learn from each other. And of course, if there's anything that you think I should be doing to promote Mixergy, tell me in the comments or by email too. I want to keep learning from you. All right, I'm Andrew Warner. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the comments.